Hey everybody, welcome back to Saving Junk, and happy Friday. Been a busy week for me, but we're going to get back on this rear window regulator. You know, getting away from it for a couple days and just kind of thinking about it and drawing some things out. I think I got an idea that might work, but we're going to try it and see. So let's see what we got.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
All right, so just kind of a quick review of the problems we were having. I put a light in here so you can see this better. All right, so like there's my roller, and here's the rear track for the window. So you can see when this roller goes down, right there, it hits that track. So that's not gonna work. Then the other problem I have, if I shorten that up to where it's not going to hit that track, the shorter I make that arm, the more travel I lose in the window. And then you get to the point where the window's just not going to move up and down enough to fully go down and fully go up. And all I've got is, you know, this is like a cast magnesium piece, and the track fits, you know, in here. Since we shortened the window, and you just don't have much travel on that track there. But I was thinking about, let me find this one picture, this picture, and it's got a little kicker there where it kind of goes down and over a 45, and then here, and then it goes down again. So I started thinking, what if I take this track, flip it, and mount it on the back side? And then if I take this arm, and you can see where I welded it there, weld a step in it, and flip it so the roller's on the other side, and put it over here so we get that top part of the arm and the track on the back side of the window. I should have plenty of space in there. So this is just a thought. I mean, I started out thinking, well, they make a lot of newer cars have a lot different style, these cable operated window regulators. And I thought, well, I'll just take a trip to the junkyard and see if I can find one of those and make one of those work. But the more I looked at this, I think this might be a better idea. So we're going to try it. The only question I don't know is if I need to make this track longer, do I have any more? I don't know if I saved any out of those junk doors or not. That may be just enough length to make that thing work, but we're gonna find out. So it ain't working now, so I can't make it any worse. All right, I'm gonna pull that out. First, I'm going to look through and see what I got as far as track. You know, flipping this should be easy. I should just flip it over and run the screw there and run the screw there. That shouldn't be a big deal at all. And then I'm going to kind of have to measure that offset and then cut that to the same offset and weld it and see what we got. But we'll see what happens. So here's going to be my starting point. What I did is I just took this piece of track and just flipped it over the other side, put a couple 5/16 nuts in there for spacers, and screwed it down. I don't know if that's long enough, I don't know if the spacing's right, but you got to start from somewhere. So we started there. So then I really needed more space to work in here, so I went ahead and opened this up some more, and just while I'm getting the window in there, getting everything working, and getting it lined up, and once I know it's right, then we'll probably weld some braces from here to here and there to there, and maybe just make a panel to go across there, and You know, I probably want to get some sound batting inside there anyway. Definitely get some paint on that bare metal, so I don't want that to rust once, you know, once car's done. Okay, so now we're going to pull this window regulator out. I'm going to measure the offset on that track and see how far back we set that, and then we're going to offset the arm on this regulator and see, does this get us in the ballpark? I'm hopeful, you know, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I did a little measuring and calculating, and so what I'm figuring is I needed about a 1-inch offset. So that's what I did. I just sliced that off of here and got a little chunk of 1-inch bar I had laying around. Actually, that was a tool I had made to hook a slide hammer into to pull the water tube out of a flathead 6 Chrysler. So if I ever get another one, need to do it, I'll just make another one. So is it going to work? I haven't the foggiest idea, but we're going to try it and find out. So as soon as this thing cools, I'm going to go ahead and slide the glass back in there, and as soon as this thing cools off, we'll give it a shot. It's just tacked together right now, but if it works, then we'll weld it up permanently, and we'll be really happy. Alright, so the moment of truth. Does it work? It does not. There is just, you know, I've shortened the space so much, there's just no room with the design of this window to get a swing regulator in there to fit. So, I'm thinking a couple of ways. Either we find something from the boneyard and make it work. They make power window kits that are, you know, they're not really cheap. That I don't really want to go that route. And that's about all I can think of. I kind of looked up the diagrams on the two-door hardtop, and I'm not even sure if I got all the two-door hardtop parts, if that would work. So I'm thinking we try the boneyard first, and then if I can't find some, and then the other option is to make them fixed window, but I really don't want to do that, especially on a hardtop. That would be a major drag. So this is the kind of stuff you run into when you're doing these projects. You know, everything can go great and smooth for a while, and you hit that road bump that just, you know, takes some thinking, and you just got to stay on it until you figure something out, you know. And usually the first time you do it is the worst time you do it, and this was the first time I've done something like this. So all right, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna throw some tools in a bag, and let's head over to the boneyard and see what we can find. The only thing that concerns me is I need it. I was looking at the window opening, and I need about how much window travel? Close to 14 inches of travel. That's quite a ways. So okay, well, let's go take a look and see what we can come up with. All right, so we're here in the boneyard, nice and rainy and nasty, and not really sure what I'm looking for. I need something cable operated off of something small, but I did come across this. It's a two-door duster body. Man, this thing does not look bad. I mean, it's missing about everything. It's only at 6, but somebody put one of those cheapo sunroofs in it. Yeah, it's got a panel hop riveted in there, but like the A-pillars are all good. That's a shame to see that sitting here. All right, this has to start, for some reason I'm thinking the early 90s Chrysler products, the mid-sized cars that they had cable operated crank windows. So I'm gonna start pulling some door panels, just see what I can come up with. All right, nothing yet. I pulled a few door panels, found a K car and found a Dynasty, and those are both the regular gear cranks. But I saw this. I think this is a Rambler, I think. I don't know what it is, but sure got a nice body on it. It's a 67. It's got a motor. Nope, no motor, but man. Straight, no rust, all the chrome. Shame it's 4-door. Or not a Rambler, it's probably an AMC Ambassador maybe? I don't know what this thing is. No badges on it anywhere. Good looking car though. Alright, let's keep looking. Alright, so I think I got something there. This is a 2001 Mazda Protege with crank windows. And what it does is just got a bar that runs down through here. I don't know if you can see that. And the glass just slides up and down on that center bar. So, and I've got 16 inches of window travel. The gear mechanism for the handle is just attached by a cable over to here. Very compact, straight up and down movement. I think we can make this work. So I'm going to pull both of these out, and we'll check out a few cars on the way out, but I'm gonna call this a score. I think this is what we need. We'll take a look as soon as I get it out of here. All right, so here's what it looks like. Really simple design. I think this is gonna work great. This bolts at the bottom of the door. This bolts onto your the bottom runner on the glass. These bolt to the top. This bolts somewhere in the door housing, and then you just crank this, and that goes up, just straight up and down. And I've got 16 inches of travel, so I know I've got enough travel on it. And I grabbed them both, and I think that's gonna work awesome. All right, so that was a good find. Took a couple hours. So now this yard is Speedway Auto Salvage in Illinois. We're by Gateway International Racetrack. We're right across the river from St. Louis. So they got about 40 acres over here. A lot of good stuff. It's mostly late model stuff, but everything is organized well. You know, it's up on these wheel frames they made so you can get under the car easy. Their prices are really good. There are a couple of old cool cars here. Like I said, most of their stuff is late model, but if I see something on the way out, we'll take a look and see what we got. Now this is a shame to see here. Jaguar convertible, probably late 80s, early 90s, and this one was the V12. Motor's going, but man, just nice straight car. Dents, no rust. Shame to leave it sitting here. This would make a killer LS1 swap. Hood's all mushed, but looks like it might have had a fire in there. Yeah, it definitely had a fire in there. But yeah, what a shame. Beautiful car. Yeah, just a few cars down, another one. Another convertible, and this one has got the V12 in it. That is a lot of motor. I not a huge displacement. I think they were 5.3. But man, what a pretty car. Let's see if it looked like somebody put a new top on it. Oh yeah, that's like a brand new top. Inside's nice. You know, these things had a lot of electrical problems, but I always thought it'd be neat to take one and just gut all the jag electric out of it and do an LS swap and just put like a street rod wiring harness in it with some different gauges, you know, kind of get rid of all the Brit problems and Americanize it a little bit. Not that I got anything against the Brits, but I had a 87 XJ6 and it was a electrical nightmare. They used to say Lucas Electric's the Prince of Darkness. But oh man, hate to see this sitting here. It's so straight. And I don't see any rust on this thing. Yeah, right there, 5.3 V12. Alright. Somebody come over and get this thing and LS swap it before they smush it. Look at that. 61 Impala 2-door. I would never believe this car would be over here. Yeah, it was Impala. 2-door. I don't know if it was a post or if it was a bubble top. Somebody took the whole top off of it. This whole back section. I'm betting this was a bubble top. Somebody cut the top off to make a bubble top out of another car, and the rest of it ended up here. Holy smoke. Can't believe this car is sitting here. Yeah, factory power steering. I don't know the codes on it, so I don't know what motor was in it. I'll be darned. Oh man, I could almost use those. I'll have a drill to get them out of there though. Yeah, might just have to get new ones of those, man. I don't know if I had a drill, I'd probably snatch it. Yeah, I got the Impala dashboard. Oh my gosh, it's got the oil gauge on it. No, it's got the clock. I'm sure it don't work. I'm not gonna mess around with it trying to get that thing. Ugh. Oh, shoot, if I had a drill, I'd be getting those sill plates though. But she's ate up. And then right there is a 67, looks like a Galaxy convertible. Right here is I think this is one of those, yeah, Buick wagons. It's got the glass, had all the glass in it. And, ooh, man, that thing is ate up. Huh. Still got the motor in it. Oh man, yeah, can't save that thing. You got up here, you got something old. Is that a Plymouth? Looks like a Plymouth. 41. It's like she got barbecued, yeah. 41 Plymouth. Oh man. That poor thing went up in flames. A small block Chevy Jeep. You're a Jeeper. Here's another Jeep. That's a 4-banger Jeep. Here's another Jeep. What's that Jeep? That is also a 4-banger Jeep. But yeah, this Galaxy, man, that's a Chevy. Ooh, look how bad that frame's bent down on it. these full frame cars? Or I thought these were full frame cars. I don't know why that's sitting like that. That convertible top mechanism should be good for somebody. What else we got over here? Mustang? Nope, that is a Thunderbird 65 or so. Ford wagon, probably a Torino. Cadillac, I think a 70, nope, 69. I had one of these, I had a 70. Had the 472 in it, that was a great motor. And this one is gone. Hey, a couple of Fieros. You know, I like these cars. And I've been really thinking about getting one. With the, it's the 4-banger. With the Biden gas prices the way they are, and driving my Volkswagen van to work, and it's a 2010. It gets decent mileage. I mean, it gets 25 or so. That's an automatic. But if you get these in the 4-cylinder 5-speed, you can get 35 miles a gallon out of them. And that old Iron Duke 4-cylinder is a good motor. And these things are really reasonably priced. So I may just be getting one of these things. I've been looking at them on Marketplace. I'd like to find a straight runner and driver with a 4-cylinder 5-speed air conditioning for under 3,000. So I'm gonna keep looking around, but I like these cars. And a lot of people are doing some cool stuff with them. They're doing V8 swaps and Ecotec swaps and 3.8 supercharged swaps, but good little cars. I'm gonna find me one. I know my wife's not gonna like that, but I'm gonna find one. Okay, let's get back on it. I can't believe there's a 61 sitting here. Not that I could really use anything off it, but it's interesting that it's sitting here. All right, here's another one. This one is really straight. Kind of an odd color, but another 4-cylinder automatic. I want the automatic. From what I heard, the 3-speed automatic's only got about 25 miles a gallon, or 26. I want that 5-speed. But this car is really, man, she's pretty ate up in the back, but man, super straight. 65 Merc or Ford. Like a Galaxy. Split bench seat frames are good. Got dash parts. What's left of a small block. Definitely saved them. Shame it's here. And over there you got a Ford Falcon 4-door. Can't go on that side of the fence. There's a hearse. We sell used body parts. That's funny. Alright, I guess that's it. We're going to check out and hit the road. Alright, so I got soaking wet out there, but $22 for both of those regulators, so that was worth the trip. And of course it completely quit raining about the time I was ready to leave. So anyway, Speedway Auto Salvage in Illinois, right across from, you know, right over the Missouri border, Missouri-Illinois border, close to downtown, right across from Gateway International. It's all self-serve, great prices, good owners. You know, I've been going there for years and years, and me and the guys recognize each other. I don't know one of their names, so, but they'll treat you right. So if you need parts and you're in the area, that's the place to go. All right, so we got about an hour trip home, turn on the ball game, see what the Cardinals are doing, and when we get home, I think we might have enough time to see if one of these is going to work. All right, let me show you what's going on here. So this is very preliminary. I know I've got more adjusting to do on it and more tweaking to do on it. I need to figure out exactly where to mount this, but now it's a little crooked up top, so I might do a little more adjusting on it, but it does work. It does go up and down, and it does give me enough travel to go fully open to fully closed. So I'm really happy. That was worth $11. $11 a piece. Paid $22 for both of them. So, all right. So you can see what I did. There's plenty of room in the door, which is good. I'm gonna have to bring the bottom this way a little bit, and you know, like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out where to mount this. I'll probably have to cut some more away in here, but I got plenty of room in here. The channel for the roller is on the other side of the glass on this end, so I pretty much got all the room in here I need to. So I should be able to cut all this away. I'm gonna have to leave that. Cut this away. Just make a plate, mount that there. The only thing is this sticks out kind of far, so I'm gonna see if I can get it far enough back in there. You know, I may have to cut this off and come up with some other kind of handle. But hey, that's gonna work. That was extremely frustrating. Okay, so that's gonna be it for this mechanical portion of this video. We'll take a trip inside. I need to take a shower first, and then we'll see what the good book's got to say tonight. And all right, let's do that. Hey all, thanks for sticking with me on that video today. That was that's been kind of painful trying to figure out how to get that window to work, but I think we got her. I think we got her figured out. Plus, we got a little trip to the boneyard and got to see a few cool things there. So that was cool. And so anyway, now for the important part of our video today. We're going to take a look at the Lord's Word, and I am looking in the book of Acts this week today. And the reason I'm doing that is our brother Matt, our pastor, is doing a sermon on the sermon series on the book of Acts, and talking about the beginning of the church and you know, how all this Christianity got started, you know, after the passing of Jesus. And been a great sermon series. Really enjoyed it. And so this is one of the readings out of that series. This is Acts chapter 16. This is actually verse 16 through 40, which I won't read the whole thing, but the reason I wanted to take a look at this was thinking about when our circumstances aren't so good, how the Lord can use that for His glory and for our good. And we may not see it at the time, but if we just hang in there and we be obedient, that you know, that God knows what He's doing. So let me kind of set this up for you. This is Paul and Silas, and they're kind of going around. I think are they in Derby and Lystra? I think they were in, and they were, you know, preaching the word, talking about the Lord. And so let's pick this up in verse 16, and it says, "As it happened that as we were going to the place of prayer," this is Paul and Silas, "a certain slave girl having a spirit of divination met us, who was bringing her masters much profit by fortune telling." So this girl was possessed by some sort of demon, some sort of evil spirit, and her masters who owned the slave girl were using this black magic to have her do fortune telling, and they were making money off of it. So then verse 17, "Following after Paul and us, she kept crying out, saying, These men are bondservants of the Most High God, who are proclaiming to you the way of salvation." Which is interesting that this spirit was making her do that. "And she continued doing this for many days, but Paul was greatly annoyed and turned and said to the spirit, I command you in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her. And it came out of her at that very moment. But when her masters saw that their hope of profit was gone, they seized Paul and Silas and dragged them into the marketplace before the authorities. And when they had brought them to the chief magistrates, they said, These men are throwing our city into confusion, being Jews, and are proclaiming customs which is not lawful for us to accept or to observe, being Romans. Translation, they knocked the evil spirit out of our slave girl, and we're not making any money anymore. And that aggravated them. So, and the crowd rose up together against them, and the chief magistrates tore the robes off and proceeded to order them to be beaten with rods. And when they had inflicted many blows upon them, they threw them into the prison, commanding the jailer to guard them securely. And he, having received such command, threw them in the inner prison and fastened their feet in the stocks. Boy, you do the right thing, and look what happens. You talk to people about Jesus, and you even save this girl from an evil spirit. And what happens? A bunch of people beat you with rods and throw you in prison. And, you know, that's pretty rough. And, you know, nowadays, I imagine a lot of us Christians think, oh, you know, we are, you know, we're being taken advantage of, and people are, you know, people are not being good to us, and we're being, there's a word I'm looking for. But anyway, we didn't have it near as bad as what these guys had it. You know, we live in a country with free speech, and it doesn't mean people aren't going to say nasty things about us on Facebook and on Twitter. They do it all the time. But as of now in this country, we're not being beaten and thrown in prison. So count yourself lucky. So if Paul and Silas can be out there preaching the word, knowing this could happen, we can do it too. So right about now, if it was me, I'd be thinking, you know, boy, this is some thanks for preaching the word. I'm here in prison and I'm beat up. So in the next verse it says, But about midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns of praise to God, and the prisoners were listening to them. So they got beat up, thrown in prison, and they're still praising God. That's awesome. And suddenly there came a great earthquake, so that the foundations of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's chains were unfastened. And when the jailer had been roused out of sleep, and had seen the prison doors open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself, thinking that the prisoners had escaped. But Paul cried out with a loud voice, saying, Do yourself no harm, for we are all here. And he called for lights and rushed in, trembling with fear. He fell down before Paul and Silas. This is the guard that was about to kill himself. And he brought them out, saying, Sir, what must I do to be saved? So imagine that. You're in prison, you've been beat up for preaching the word, and all of a sudden there's this earthquake and the wall falls down. First thing I think I would do is, boom, out of there. But Paul and Silas, they stayed. And they stayed because they knew this guy would be punished if they left. And so what happens is the jailer, seeing that, falls down on his knees and asks what he must do to be saved. And that was their purpose in being there. That's why God allowed all this stuff to happen that seems really bad. All that ended up saving this man's soul. The next thing they say is, as they spoke the word of the Lord to him, together with all who were in his house, and he took them that very hour of the night, washed their wounds, and immediately he was baptized, he and all his household. So not just him, his whole family. And he brought them into his house, set food before them, and rejoiced greatly, having believed in God with his whole household. Now that is awesome. And boy, we talk about trying to be like Jesus. Just imagine trying to be like Paul and Silas here. The amount of faith it took to continue to speak about the Lord when they were really being persecuted. That's what I'm looking for. When they were really being persecuted. Not like we're persecuted in this country. I mean, we're at the point where people are saying nasty things, and Christianity is not very much loved in this country. I'm sorry to say, by those who are not Christians. And the day may come where we're called to be like this, where we might live in a country more like China or North Korea. It's very possible before the Lord comes back, that's where the United States could go. So we need to look at this example, and can we have that much faith, and can we be that strong, and can we be that obedient? And despite that bad stuff happening, can we wait and say, I know God is going to do something good with this, and I know he has a plan, and I'm going to listen and do what he says, and just wait until that plan unfolds. I don't know how long all this took. It doesn't really say. They could have been in there for weeks. They could have been in there for months. I didn't really read exactly how long. But by them being obedient, that guy was saved, and all of his household was saved, and that's awesome. So think about that. Maybe you want to read that on your own and take a look at it. It was Acts 16 through 34 is as far as we went. I'm always asking people if they want to leave a prayer request in the bottom. Please do that. I would like to make a prayer request. My sister Julie, one of my older sisters, I'm the youngest. She's a military veteran. She was in the Army in the 1970s. Served over in Germany, and she was a truck driver and a welder in the Army, which is kind of an interesting career for a woman. And then when she got out, she became a nurse and has been a nurse her entire career. In fact, she just retired last year. And I'll tell you what, this Julie is a strong woman of faith and a tough woman. I tell you, she raised 3 kids. She's an excellent mom, an excellent grandma. Always worked on her own cars, changed her own oil. But just a wonderful person. And anyway, she has just found out she's got some serious health issues, and she just retired. So I'd just like to ask for prayer for her, for what she's going through right now, and for healing for her, and that they can take care of this stuff that's going on with her, and that she can enjoy her time of retirement, and just being a grandma and a great grandma. And so if you could pray for Julie, I'd greatly appreciate it. So let's say a prayer real quick, and we'll end this. Father, we just thank you for this time together tonight, and I thank you for your word, and we just ask for strength, that we can have the strength of Paul and Silas, that we can be obedient, and when things aren't going well, that we can trust that you've got a purpose, and that our obedience will carry us through, and that we want to fulfill your purpose for your glory. And Father, I just ask for my sister Julie, for healing for her, for strength for her as she goes through this illness, and for strength for her family. And we just, like I said, we just ask for Pray for complete healing. Of course, we accept your will, whatever that is. But just be with her as she goes through this. We ask this in the name of your precious son, Jesus. Amen. Okay, thank you, folks. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit pass this on to some other people. Leave a comment, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next one.